Coming right up, the city of Albany talks about putting cameras in cop cars.
Our area's biggest suburban school district considers what to do next after voters defeat the school budget. Next. It's the most alarming warning since September 11th. Tonight, officials say intelligence now shows that terrorists are planning a major attack in the United States this summer. Good evening, I'm Joe Pagliarulo.
And I'm Liz Bishop. One senior official says the terrorists are aiming to hit us hard. Tonight, senior officials tell the Associated Press they're receiving a steady drumbeat of highly credible information that shows terrorists are determined to strike America sometime this summer. No word where, when, or how. But sources suggest that terrorists are already in the United States and that they may use chemical, biological, or radiation weapons. Attorney General John Ashcroft will talk about the threat in a news conference tomorrow, and he might show pictures of suspected terrorists wanted for questioning. There are no plans right now to raise the terror alert from yellow to orange.
The Capital Region now has a first-of-its-kind role in the war on terror. The head of the FBI in town today announcing the nation's only counterterrorism unit based right in Latham.
And we can defeat these adversaries only if our agencies work together.
Director Robert Mueller joined Governor Pataki and Vermont Governor Jim Douglas to explain how the Upstate New York Regional Intelligence Center works. The center will provide critical information to New York's 70,000 law enforcement officers in the field. The officers, in turn, can relay information back to the FBI that could prevent a terrorist attack. Governor Pataki says if a system like this had been in effect before September 11th, a Maryland state trooper who pulled over one of the hijackers for speeding might have had information that could have changed everything.
Who knows what might have happened if that terrorist had been arrested, detained, and interrogated 3 days before the horrible attacks of September 11th.
The system dubbed UNIRIC will be used as a model for the rest of the nation.
Gloversville police are looking for the owner of a pit bull shot twice in the snout with a bow and arrow.
Police have a suspect in custody. Now they're looking for a loving home for the wounded animal.
And tonight, Gabriella Bruni picks up the story, new at 11, live from our newsroom.
Well, Liz and Joe, police say Andrew Jarrett violated Buster's law when he shot the dog twice with a bow and arrow. He's facing a maximum of 2 years in prison. The dog, meantime, is showing an incredible will to live.
The broadhead had entered and had been pulled out as well.
You can still see the blood at the tip of this hunting arrow. Gloversville police say this pit bull was the target.
You think he was trying to kill him?
Yeah, he was trying to kill him. I think so.
Now Andrew Jarrett is behind bars. Police say the 22-year-old shot the dog twice with his bow and arrow. Sergeant John Sierra shows us the evidence taken from Jarrett's backyard on South Kingsborough Avenue.
And this is the part of the arrow that was actually in the dog when the dog fled the residence.
Jarrett told police the dog was a stray and he was acting in self-defense after the dog bit him. Police say that part is true, but police say Jarrett had the dog tied up in the backyard the night before.
It's really unknown what Mr. Jarrett was planning on doing with the dog. We just don't know.
He hasn't shown any signs of aggression here.
Vet tech Ann Wainwright says the dog was in bad shape when he arrived Monday.
He was bleeding profusely mainly out of the left cheek where the hunting arrow went through.
Since the dog's owner has yet to come forward, staffers at the vet's office are affectionately calling the dog Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow has staples in his left cheek but is expected to make a full recovery. Police say Jarrett is no stranger to the Gloversville Police Department and he's wanted in North Carolina for probation violation. Police say more charges could come when Jarrett is arraigned for the second time next week. Live in the newsroom, Gabriella Bruni, Channel 6 News.
New at 11 out of Albany tonight, it is another sleepless night for the family of a missing mother of two. 19-year-old Cassandra Kindlin was last seen Saturday in the apartment she shares with her boyfriend on Madison Avenue in the Pine Hills neighborhood. Her family says Kindlin got into an argument with her boyfriend that day. Police have questioned the boyfriend, they say. He says, according to them, that Kindlin took off. Kindlin's family says she never would have left her children, and they're worried that she has been harmed.
I always know where she is. She always calls me. She calls my mother. Somebody always knows where she is, and she doesn't go anywhere without her kids.
Kindlin's children are 1 and 3 years old. Albany police want you to give them a call if you have any information on the case. New at 11 out of Albany, the city is thinking about focusing a new eye on crime. Tonight, Common Council members discussed whether to require video cameras in all in the city. The idea has been gaining support in the community because of recent police chases like the one that killed bystander David Scaringe. Councilman Michael Brown is sponsoring the measure. He says cameras would level the playing field, providing answers for the community and for police. Brown says so far police are all for it. No decisions tonight.
The bartender tells us they were out of control. Now some off-duty Albany cops are under investigation for a bar fight in Colony. It happened earlier this month at Tommy's Place. It's a popular hangout on Albany Shaker Road. John Reyes of Albany tells us he went there to celebrate his birthday. He claims that several men attacked him after he had words with one of them at the jukebox. The woman tending bar that night tells us the men were off-duty Albany cops and they were, quote, out of control.
Well, I was hit with a pool stick in my head. My head was gashed open. I was kicked, punched, choked, held down. And as I tried to leave the bar, it happened again outside in front of the bar.
The Colony Police Department and Albany Police Internal Affairs are investigating the incident. 17-year-old Corey Flood of Albany will soon be out of jail now that he's been found not guilty of murder and attempted murder charges. Prosecutors argue that Flood fired a gun into a crowd of young people outside of the Ida Yarborough housing project last July. 16-year-old Orson Robinson was killed, 3 others wounded. The defense insisted that Flood did not pull the trigger, and the jury believed it.
New at 11, it is a first for our area and for New York State. More than 1,000 Schenectady County employees and retirees can now get their prescription drugs cheaper from Canada. Tonight, by an overwhelming vote, the county's CSEA workers okayed a contract that includes a Canadian drug benefit. Employees now have the option of getting a 90-day supply of prescriptions like Lipitor filled in Canada and then mailed to their homes. Typically, drugs from Canadian pharmacies cost between 30% and 60% less than they do here in the U.S.
Savings will be shared by the city and by the counties and by the unions. And together, they're working to resolve a huge problem in the United States right now, and that is that drug costs are out of control.
With health benefits so expensive, the county was facing the possibility of 167 layoffs. Now, thanks to the plan, those jobs will be saved, and the county's annual drug bill will be cut in half by as much as $500,000.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, then what's next? That's the question they're trying to answer in our area's largest suburban school district. Tonight was the first school board meeting since voters defeated the Shenendehowa school budget by just over 100 votes. That vote stunned school officials, and now they have to come up with a new plan. The original spending plan called for a 4.3% tax increase. Tonight, the board broke down the vote to analyze what went wrong. An exit poll shows that most people who vote no don't want to pay higher taxes. Also, lower voter turnout did not help the district. The board is now trying to come up with a leaner budget to bring back before the voters of that district. Well, let's hope that we're not lean on sunshine tomorrow.
Chief Meteorologist Steve LaPointe up now with first weather. Steve.
Well, I think we will be. It's going to be an unsettled day with clouds and some showers. In fact, we're looking at live instant Doppler 6 right now, and the radar is lighting up to the west with some showers and potentially a few thunderstorms. This is Otsego County. Now coming into western portions of Otsego County, all moving off to the east at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, so some embedded downpours, rumbles of thunder. Certainly a good bet coming up overnight tonight with this initial batch of showers, and we'll see a few more through the day on Wednesday. Forecast looks like this for you for tomorrow. Some showers around at 8 o'clock. Nothing too heavy, I think, at that point. 60 degrees. We'll get a break around midday. Maybe some intervals of sunshine, 67 before a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms pop up during the afternoon. Temperatures at 6 o'clock near 66. Joe.
All right, Steve, thanks. See you in a bit. Low mass attendance and low weekly collections are forcing the closure of 60 Massachusetts churches. That from the Boston Archdiocese today. Archbishop Sean O'Malley is calling it a massive restructuring of church resources. With the loss of 60 churches, the total number will go under 300. He adds a shortage of priests to the reasons for the shutdowns. The parishes will not close immediately, but will gradually shutter through the end of the year.
A night of fun on an all-terrain vehicle takes a wrong turn, landing an area man in the hospital. This while cops say he never should have been where he was riding in the first place.
Plus, there's one thing sure to ruin your day, going out to your car only to find it been broken into. We'll show you where the smash and grabs happened and have reaction.
And it was all about speed, excitement, and pursuit. And what happened on Capital Region racetracks in those early years helped make NASCAR the most popular spectator sport in the nation. We're back in 60 seconds.
You're watching Channel 6 News live with Liz Bishop and Joe Pagliarulo. This is Channel 6 News at 11.
A Latham man is airlifted to Albany Med with head injuries following an ATV accident in Colony. Emergency crews responding to the woods off Bleed Extension around 6 this evening. Police say 21-year-old Michael Walsh was riding with 5 of his buddies when he crashed his ATV. Police say Walsh was wearing a helmet when he tried to ride over a homemade dirt jump, his ATV flipping over on top of him. Police warn that riding an ATV within 1,000 feet of a house is illegal.
We've been having a considerable problem with ATVs throughout the town this year, and we're asking for the public's help to tell their children and even the adults who are riding ATVs that there's pretty much nowhere in the town that you can ride an ATV and not be in violation of the town ordinance.
New at 11 out of Berkshire County tonight.
Too bad we have to have incidents like this that ruin it for people. People would be afraid to come out.
2 cars broken into at a popular Berkshire County biking and walking trail, and now residents, right there you saw them, are upset. Lanesboro police say someone smashed the windows of 2 SUVs and stole items from inside. One woman says her pocketbook with all of her credit cards and IDs was taken. The rail trail is located by the Berkshire Mall.
On a summer night at the Fonda Speedway, thousands of people will come out to watch stock car racing. Today's drivers owe much to those who came before them. 50 years ago, when NASCAR was new, every driver took his life in his hands when he grabbed the steering wheel. But the drivers shrugged off the danger, and the fans reveled in their exploits. And a lot of the legends we have today had their roots right here in the capital region. It was the end of the war, really, that started it. Soldiers back home looking for more adventure, and they found it on little homemade tracks of dirt they called speedways, sprinkled all over the area.
They all would run good races, but they were never very well organized.
It was like a family thing. The wives and children of the drivers would come, and it was exciting to them.
Today, this ramshackle ticket booth is all that's left of White's Beach Speedway, because in 1953, a powerhouse named Fonda blew those little tracks right out of the water, although they didn't go quietly.
The second night was sort of a failure. He only had 7 cars up here. But it was understood that other tracks like Sharon and Brookfield were paying fellows to stay away.
Fonda's first promoter, Ed Fuse, personally contacted every driver in the area. The next week, he says, 54 showed up.
Fonda was probably one of the first NASCAR tracks in the New England area.
Men like Pete Corey, Kenny Shoemaker, Bill Wimple, and Rainey Charland packed them in each Saturday night. Drivers who race for the thrill, staring down danger week after week.
I got burnt. The gas tank broke.
Charland's foot got stuck between the steering wheel, and another driver, Eddie Flemke, dragged him out. 2 weeks later, with half his face burned off, Charland was back behind the wheel.
When I stopped bleeding, I started racing.
Bertha Welch's husband, George, died on the track. He wasn't in a car. He was the starter.
The guy that hit him came from the back through the infield. He just tried to beat everybody, I guess.
Look at a driver today, and he's covered in protective gear. Back then, drivers might have worn a leather helmet and goggles.
They didn't have any special boots, or they had a seat belt, no shoulder harnesses, no special protective gear for anything else like they have today.
And what was on the line? Well, not only did drivers foot the bill to soup up their cars, they paid to get in.
I don't think anyone ever got rich. And then in 1959, I built a drag strip.
I had 300 trophies, a whole room full. I sold them for $2 a piece to another drag strip.
Jack Muldowney had hundreds to sell, but he found a better way to make money.
And the gimmick was a girl driver.
Jack's then wife Shirley would go on to become the most famous name in drag racing.
Oh, she just loved it. The first time she found that challenge to beat somebody by that much at 150.
And while dragster Shirley Muldowney moved away from Fonda in the 60s to seek her fame and fortune, NASCAR's biggest drivers were coming here to take on the local drivers. And there's none bigger than the king, Richard Petty. You'll hear from him yourself tomorrow.
Once again, great job, Liz. Well, just ahead right here, Steve has your instant Doppler 6 forecast, plus no fishing. The Vermont-based band with a cult-like following is calling it quits.
Instant Doppler 6 is sponsored by First Niagara Bank. Our first priority is you.
Now, your instant Doppler 6 forecast with meteorologist Steve LaPointe.
And we start this evening with a look at live instant Doppler 6 showing more rain on the radar scope, not in the immediate capital region. It's coming in now to portions of the Adirondacks and the western Mohawk Valley. Some downpours pushing through Herkimer County now, coming into portions of western Fulton, western Montgomery. A pretty good line of what's likely some thunderstorms now coming across Otsego County. It looks like some very good downpours there. This all tracking off towards the east, so coming into Delaware Delaware County, coming into Schoharie County. This will eventually make it into the capital region over the next 1 to 2 hours as it fills in a little bit. This is the initial batch of showers, and we may see a little bit of this left over towards daybreak as well. So don't be surprised if you see a flash or two of lightning tonight and hear a rumble of thunder as this batch moves on through. Graphics showing you the loop over the past 6 hours, showing some stuff that tried to develop this evening but didn't really quite pull together. This is what we have now. Syracuse to Utica, just to the north of Binghamton, this line of showers moving our way. So maybe a few raindrops around still at 8 o'clock in the morning. I think light and scattered, 60 degrees then. Looking for a high close to 70 tomorrow. It will not be a washout, but there will be a renewed threat for some scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up during the afternoon, as we could get just a couple of breaks of sunshine, but sunshine not too plentiful coming up tomorrow. High today, 71 degrees with at least partial sunshine, 60 this morning. It has been dry today, normal 73 and 49, so well above the normal on that low temperature. Here's our exclusive allergy alert pollen level forecast. The levels dropping a little bit tomorrow with that rain in the area, popping right back up into the high category for Thursday, then likely dropping down, I think, into the moderate category for Friday, as that'll be our next chance for some wet weather. 62 right now with the dew point at 55. We have a southeast wind that has picked up now 14 miles per hour. Relative humidity 78%. 60 at Syracuse. Schenectady report 63. 59 though Glens Falls. Low to mid 50s. A little cooler into the Berkshires at Pittsfield and North Adams. And Poughkeepsie at the moment 61 degrees. Clouds again coming in from the west. The clouds depositing some rain showers here. You can see the enhancement and a big blow up of white on the map. These clouds very high. Big showers and thunderstorms now much further south, but that batch is going to take the southern route and not affect us. So we're dealing with this, as this weather system will be very slow to move through. It pretty much affects the northeast all day tomorrow, and with low pressure in the vicinity, that's why I think there's a shot we'll see a few more showers developing. Then a little pocket of dry air back here towards Chicago. That'll be coming in for Thursday, giving us another break before the next system comes in on Friday. So again, a few showers around during the morning, nothing too heavy or steady, but an umbrella may be a good idea again for the afternoon with the scattered showers and thunderstorms. No complete rainouts, but some wet weather. 57 tonight, cloudy showers, maybe a few rumbles. South to southeasterly wind should drop back to near 5 miles an hour. Near 70 tomorrow with a few showers during the morning, then scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms. A couple of breaks of sunshine between both those batches. Tomorrow night, a shower or two lingering into the evening. Those will end with partial clearing late at night, low close to about 50 degrees. Here's a look at the next 7 days. Thursday looking nice right now, 73. Friday looking a bit showery, maybe some storms, 67. And I'm still cautiously optimistic about the holiday weekend. We could get all 3 days dry. That's tough to do. 67 on Saturday, so a little cool, close to 70 Sunday and Monday. Joe.
We'll keep them crossed, Steve. Thanks a lot. Well, they're one step closer to saying play ball in Pittsfield now that an ownership group has unveiled plans that is, to bring minor league baseball to Wacona Park. It's one of the stories you'll find in tomorrow's Berkshire Eagle. The plan from the owners, including former Yankee Jim Bouton, calls for doubling the improving drainage in the often flooded area and creation of a scenic recreational area nearby. The hope is to have a new minor league baseball team playing in the park by the summer of 2005. An exhibition to be televised by ESPN is planned for this July 3rd.
Unionized City Hall employees in Saratoga Springs are about as likely to be overpaid as underpaid. That's in tomorrow's Saratogian. A consulting firm studied last year's salaries for 85 City Hall employees. All of them were members of CSEA. The study found that 39 were overpaid and 46 were underpaid. The findings were based on salaries suggested by the firm. The average overpaid employee made about $2,700 more than the firm suggested, while the average underpaid employee made about $3,000 less.
One of the nation's top touring acts, Phish, has announced they are breaking up, and right before the release of their new album on June 15th.
Well, the Vermont-based jam band made a surprise announcement today on their website. Members of the band say they felt Phish had run its course, and it would be great, they say, to end on a high note.
The band was formed back in 1983. Some of its shows drew up to 80,000 fans. I wonder if they're swimming upstream now against Phish.
Still, you're going to feel really stupid. Still ahead of here, sectional baseball and softball highlights.
Plus, Mike Piazza and the Mets are getting it going these days at Shea Stadium. Doug.
Sports.
Next.
Of our colleague.
Channel 6 Sports with Doug Sherman.
Welcome back, everybody. The NHL came out of witness protection tonight with hopes that people actually would start tuning in for the Stanley Cup Finals game, one of the best of 7 championship series between the Calgary Flames and Tampa Bay Lightning. Calgary's brightest flame, Jerome Iginla, ignited the flame early. Iginla's goal made it 1-0 Calgary. The Flames go on to win 4-zip Game 2 Thursday night back in Tampa. Game 3 of the NBA's Western Conference Finals. The Lakers are leading the Timberwolves. Girls State Lax playoffs. Bethlehem beat Kingston, and Scotia was a 15-5 winner. Shaker High School's Ann Farrakane has been virtually unhittable all season. Today, in the Section 2 semifinals, Farrakane led the Blue Bison against Colony. No amount of coaching, though, would help the Garnet Raiders today. Farrakane was bringing the heat. In fact, the future Penn Quaker was perfect. 19 of her 21 outs recorded by strikeout. And she got plenty of support. Whitney Borisonak doubled home Rory Ogden. It was 2-0 Shaker. Then Megan Dowd delivered Kristen Jock. Farrakane's perfect game leads Shaker into the sectional title game. Meanwhile, Shenendehowa and Bethlehem squared off for the right to face Shaker. The underdog Eagles struck first. Melissa Taub ripped a gapper, and Anna Rubin would just beat the throw at the plate to make it 1-0 Bethlehem. But the defending state champs from Clifton Park were just getting started. Carrie Kuhn's 2-run double put the Plainsmen on top to stay, so number 2 Shen will take on number 1 Shaker Friday night for the title. Class A, Mahonison and Burnt Hills advance. Hoosick Falls and Greenwich both won by shutout. Fort Plains' Jenna Fredericks a 1-hitter, Melissa Salisbury a 3-hitter for Hoosick Valley. And the Class D final will be Germantown against Fort Ann. The baseball sectionals resume tonight as well. Greenwich met Hoosick Falls in the Class CC semis. The game was tied at 2 in the top of the 7th inning when the Witches grabbed the lead. Ryan Davis, who went 3 for 3, doubled home Nick Johnson to make it 3-2 Greenwich. So move to the bottom of the 7th. Hoosick Falls had the tying run on second base, but Josh Jennings got the final out. Jennings went the distance, and Greenwich advances to the finals. The Witches take on Stillwater Thursday at the Joe for the crown. Class C, Salem shut out Lake George. Rensselaer had to forfeit after suspensions left the Rams without enough players. And in Class D, Hartford and Fort Edward both moved on. Well, Mets fans were actually juiced up a little bit for tonight's game against the first-place Phillies. You see, the Mets began the night at 500, just 3 games off the pace. Al Leiter hoping to get back soon. 6th inning, Mike Piazza with a solo home run, his 10th circuit plot of the campaign, 3-0 Mets. Then in the 7th, Philadelphia loaded the bases. Mike Stanton relieved Steve Traxel, and Stanton got out of the jam. The Mets are now within 2 games of first place. The Yankees and Orioles in Baltimore tonight, although rain brought the tarps after 2 innings. Then Derek Jeter, who's been scuffling at the plate, and plays like that one by Melvin Mora will not help DJ's average. So Jeter, the next time up, went the other way. That double brought home Tony Clark, and it gave the Yankees a 5-0 lead. And then later in the 6th, Alex Rodriguez would crush one to center field. A-Rod's 11th of the year highlighted a 6-run uprising, and the Yankees have beaten the Birds. The Red Sox began the night a game and a half ahead of the Yankees in the AL East, home against Oakland. Curt Schilling pitched 7 strong for Boston, and boy did he some offensive support. 19 hits tonight for the Red Sox, including 4 by David Ortiz. Boston hammers Tim Hudson and the A's 12-2. Martina Navratilova played her first Grand Slam singles match in a decade earlier today at the French Open. The 47-year-old legend, however, lost 6-1, 6-3 to 19-year-old Gisela Dulko. Martina remains in Paris to play doubles. Also today, the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus, as well as Jennifer Capriati, all first-round winners at Roland Garros. And finally, 10 former NBA greats will visit David Letterman tonight on The Late Show. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes, right here on Channel 6. I'll be watching. Joe and Liz, will you?
You'll be listening in the car.
You betcha. Wouldn't miss it.
Thanks, Doug.
And a quick reminder, if you see news, call us at 346-TIPS or email us at WRGBnews@WRGB.com.
Check in with Ed and Tom in the morning, okay?
Have a good night. See you tomorrow.